this afternoon is Cameron DeHaze, who will talk about The Distance.
As I spent a Saturday night staring at a half-blank Word document this past October, I had quite an uncanny experience. I had just turned 18 and gotten into the thick of everything my senior year had to offer when I had to take the time to complete one of the hardest writing assignments I ever had to do, my senior yearbook paragraph. I, a student with a bad habit of wordiness, had to condense all of my memories and appreciation of school into a measly 800 characters. My entire life at Greely, let alone in the whole public education system, was a massive journey that could never be fully summarized in the equivalent of 5.7 tweets. It seemed there were too many memories to mention, too many people to thank, and too many shoutouts and inside jokes to include to choose from. However, all of the reminiscing and realization of my new status as a legal adult was making me feel not like a kid anymore, as I felt so many times this year. To counteract this, I knew just what to turn to, my Disney Pandora station. And maybe you all have one too. It was much more relaxing to write while listening to the musical silence of talking lions and bears. And I got to the conclusion when I ran out of ideas. But all of a sudden, the most appropriate song of all came on, Go the Distance from Hercules. The timing was just perfect. I had already thumbed up the song on my station, and there were only so many songs from Disney soundtracks that were in the pool, so it was kind of bound to happen. But still, hearing the song crawl its way through my earbuds made me pause and think. It felt uncanny because, while I was trying my hardest to get through the year and figure out my future, Hercules was trying to look toward his future and seek the path that he always dreamed of, but he didn't know what it was yet. There would be a plethora of trials on his way, but it didn't matter to him, so long as he was proud of what he accomplished in the end. Thus, young Herc embarked on his epic journey from zero to hero in a way that only a man in a Disney movie could, with moral support from a dim-witted Pegasus and life coaching from a washed-up satyr voiced by Danny DeVito. From gaining loads of muscle mass, to fighting mythical beasts, to wooing a damsel not in distress, to finding his way back to Mount Olympus, you could say Hercules went the distance indeed. Still, how does that connect to my senior paragraph, might you ask? Well, none of us had to go through the same exact perils that Hercules did, but our time in high school and school overall has at times felt like quite a Herculean endeavor. Back when we first started this epic quest called school, we all had dreams of going the distance for ourselves. It took guts to leave home and go somewhere full of kids we didn't know, but it was all for the sake of learning and growing. Back then, it seemed like we had such a long way to go that it was impossible to imagine the outcome at the end of the tunnel. Even so, we just kept plugging away, knowing that each year, the final bell would ring, and we could officially say we completed another grade. Needless to say, we didn't hug our parents and hop on the school bus as freakishly strong teenage boys, nor did we go through intense physical boot camp to become classical heroes, nor did we have to slay a hydra before a public audience without knowing its heads can multiply if you cut them off. Still, I can relate to Hercules through my own experiences. I, for one, felt like a true big kid when I stepped on bus 8 for the first time. I worked out a lot, too, mentally through homework and physically through PE and recess. Also, I can assure you that having both of my ballpoint pens run out of ink halfway through the essay portion of my AP Language and Composition exam felt much more stressful than slaying a hydra probably ever would. It wasn't always easy for any of us, but we had our friends to support us, and our parents, guardians, teachers, guidance counselors, and other faculty to keep us on the straight and narrow. They all helped us know that we could do it, even though I think the companionship of a winged horse could have helped me through my 2 simultaneous research papers during sophomore year. That October night, I realized that we had all gone the distance in our own race. We may have started out in kindergarten as short, precocious kids, but 12 years later, we'd become much taller, more mature, and more prepared to take on the world. So, as the epic orchestral interlude kept playing through my earbuds, I closed off my yearbook paragraph with a reference to the song. It made perfect sense, and I don't kid with just how awesome the Hercules soundtrack is. If you haven't seen the movie, it is on Netflix last time I checked, so I highly suggest going home and watching it after Project Grad, but I digress. With my paragraph settled, I had one more fixture of senior year down, and was more ready to take on the beast of a year it was bound to be. Luckily, all of us sitting here today made it. We all knew we would get here sooner or later, after slugging our way through the college application process, our final 4 quarters, our final spirit week, all the different types of exams, and all of our other milestones. We've traveled a long, long, long way to get from year to year to graduation. But as much as I'd like to say we're done for good, there's still more to come, and there always will be. Nothing ahead of us is going to be easy, no matter what paths we're destined for. But if we're determined to get where we're going, it'll be a great adventure nonetheless. We will find our way. We can go the distance. We won't care how far, because somehow we'll be strong. We'll know every mile will be worth our while, and we'll go most anywhere to find where we belong. And as the Muses would say, honey, though it may seem impossible, that's the gospel truth.